Why do the most beautiful things in our life move to self-destruction? Guess a riddle. When does a crooked hammer looks like a stun gun? The answer is obvious, whenever you want. Do I exaggerate? In all these people from the previous episodes, isn't that a confirmation of the revival of populism? The thing is that when you are small, you can see what is invisible to you when you are big. Why doesn't anyone disturbed anymore about this threat of collectivism? It doesn't matter why a significant has become insignificant. It's just the way it is. And now what? When the road is a mystery, try to walk randomly. Fly with the wind. Thank you, British, who sometimes brought wit, intelligence and often stubbornness to the walls of this parliament. We will miss you in the coming years. We can't stop Brexit. This is no longer an issue today. This is a sad event. It is sad to see us left behind by people who twice gave their blood for the freedom of Europe. How could this happen? Some people say that the British are afraid of losing their sovereignty. But the cruel reality of today is that European countries have lost their sovereignty a long time ago. Others said it was through migration. But these migrants are EU citizens paying taxes in Britain. Others say you have not made enough exceptions for Britain. But Brexit began when we started giving exceptions. It was at that moment that Britain ceased to be part of the Union, and the Union has lost its ability to work effectively, always acting too little and too late. Brexit is a defeat of the Union, and yes, there is a lesson to be learned from this. It is that we must deeply reform the Union. I do not know what to answer to the British who want to stay. It is not in our power, but we can make the Union they come back to be different. Guy Verhofstadt, European Parliament, Brussels, January 29, 2020. On January 31st, 2020, the first piece of the European Union came off. Great Britain left the Union. At 11 p.m. Union Jack was lowered from the flagpoles of the European Parliament in Brussels. I have heard this news in the Greek city of Vergina, about the importance of which for Europe we talked about in the previous episode. For some reason, I believed until the last moment that the British would find ways to stay, but this event was a confirmation of the crisis in Europe. I decided to fly with the wind, and although it was already time to leave Greece, the wind carried me into this zone of Greek fruit business.
I will tell you the mentality of the northern people, me, for example, comparing to somebody that is from Athens. One thing that is strange is that the northern people, like us, and people from Creta, we have many common things in mentality.
Okay, which one?
The honor.
Okay.
And the word, you know.
So you can
so,
trust.
So
you can trust.
Yeah, no, it is south.
South.
It is eastern south. It is western south. It is island people from islands. People from islands, from Aegean, from Ionian. Completely. For example, people from Ionian Sea. Ionian Sea is the sea in between Greece and Italy.
Sure. Okay.
They are very similar to Italian people because they were affected from Italy. And their way of their taste and the food and the cuisine is Italian.
From the very far east, from Alexandroupolis.
Yes, you can say.
And where it finishes?
It finishes to Larissa.
Larissa. Okay. And in the south, where it finishes?
South starts from Larissa, including Larissa, and finishes to, you can say, to Athens. Then this Peloponnesus, you know Peloponnesus.
Sure.
The worst people, in my opinion.
Okay.
Worst people in Greece, because it's very difficult to do a job with it. Very difficult.
Tough.
Very difficult to communicate, not only to do a job. No, not tough. they think that you are idiot and they are clever. And normally it happens the opposite.
How it works in the North?
Basically, Greece is not a country that can sign a contract. It's not a person to say, I sign a contract.
And in the North, is the station is the same or not?
Exactly.
Okay.
You don't have to sign a contract.
You don't have to sign a contract. You make the gentleman agreement.
Difficult to explain.
Also, when you are little, you think about entering correctly. If you look closely, you will notice that most of the Greek businesses are named after their owners, by their names. I used to think that this is due to the pride of Greeks for their family. But it is simpler in reality. These are individual entrepreneurs, no option to call it differently. The overwhelming majority of small and medium-sized businesses in Greece are individual entrepreneurs who have advantages over opening a company. First, it is easier to open an individual entrepreneur. If you have a Greek identification number, the procedure takes no more than a day with minimum cost without a notary. Secondly, which is more important, it is easier to close an individual entrepreneur. In the case of a company, the procedure can last for years with the involvement of lawyers, judges and a huge number of controls of almost all contractors. The closure of an individual entrepreneur can last for several days without special controls. In general, in Greece, they decided if you are small, work should be easier for you. There are practically no revisions for individual entrepreneurs. The cost of accounting services for them is 3 times less than for companies. They are not required to have cash registers, and there are practically no controls for them. The only inconvenience is the restriction on turnover, which should not exceed 1.5 million over the last 2 years of operating activity. An individual entrepreneur is responsible for his activities with his own personal property. This, however, opens up some opportunities for foreigners. As my Italian friends say, do you have the hell a lot in Italy? Let's briefly remember everything we learned about Greece from previous episodes.
Here, they take the money from here and take Germany.
It's a lot of business here. No trust.
No trust.
No. Yes.
Do Greeks pay taxes?
Yes. No.
Not all. Sure. Absolutely. That's good.
Every year they say the rules. Every year they change 3 times, 4 times.
The evening was coming to an end, and it was high time to talk about the eternal.
If you come here in the summer, here, in the sea, the beach, one
bench
is the good woman, and the other place here is. If the woman is very beautiful woman, they make tattoo big and beautiful.
In Greece.
In Greece. If the woman is
not so good,
not so good, very
fat,
they made belts, little belts. The men in Greece, they want the woman.
Okay, wait.
Padu, everywhere.
Sure. All world. But what do Greek men do to deserve a good woman?
They don't do nothing.
Okay, good. That's good. That's a good strategy.
If the man is lucky, they take the woman.
Race and charm. Costas, of course, is a dream of every girl. It was time for me to move on, but there was still one unfinished business in the fruit zone of Greek Macedonia.